6 years ago, an Icelandic geneticist published a paper in the Journal of Theoretical Biology stating that he had identified a human endogenous retrovirus that could be triggered in the human genome after exposure to influenza virus B. He went on to state that symptoms included increased adrenal response and the erosion of the septum pelliculum. Of the subjects tested, he reported that cognitive function had been significantly impaired while irritability and aggression increased exponentially. The study itself was buried in several articles attempting to discredit it before it disappeared from the web last year. I am only aware of this because I had used the study as a reference in a paper I wrote for an online class that semester. Earlier this year, a major pharmaceutical company filed a patent for a new flu vaccine that used irradiated influenza virus B cells suspended in a proprietary solution for use as a countermeasure to the H1N1 virus so many of us heard about it years past. Dr. Egertson, the geneticist whose paper I mentioned before, was listed as a contributing author on the patent itself. Shortly after this information was released, the pharmaceutical company sent representatives to the city council here in town. Our town is a small community that is isolated from the rest of Kentucky by the Appalachian Mountains. In fact, driving to anywhere else in Kentucky requires driving down into Virginia and looping around. We had been selected for a test run of the new vaccine. After greasing the palms of a few council members, the company was allowed to set up a clinic on the town square. We aren't the richest of towns, so when the company started offering cash incentives for receiving the injections, people started pouring out in droves. This is one area where my inherent laziness and internet addiction served me well. After a few weeks, the company packed up and left. I wasn't that worried about it until I peered out my window to see people fighting in the street. What were once men shouted at each other, fought like feral beasts. Everywhere I looked, people were fighting and shouting. The fighters would tear into each other and bring back chunks of flesh with their teeth. It was truly terrible to watch. From my second-floor apartment, I watched my friends and neighbors devolve into frightening creatures. All I could do is watch. When the power went out, I decided it was a good idea to get out of town. With my laptop in my bag and armed with little more than my wits and an old moped, I decided to head down the mountain. I had traveled about a mile down Limbo Hollow Road when I saw that the bridge connecting us to CR 1180 had been destroyed. I stopped and used my cell phone to look for directions. When I looked at the Google Maps satellite image, my heart dropped. I had looked at it 100 times before, and you could easily see our little town nestled in the mountains. However, when I looked at the image, I saw the road I was on and dense forest for miles in every direction. There was no bridge and no town. The town itself had been replaced with a pixelated image of a large pond. In a panic, I looked up our town to return no results. Everything our town history, my former high school, even pictures I had posted of myself were gone. I had no email, no Facebook account, and I could find no record that I even existed. In fact, I could find no record that the town existed. I am writing this to warn you. Do not come to Limbo Hollow, Kentucky. The things you'd find are barely human anymore. Also, try to avoid a new and improved flu shot you may see coming this year. As for me, I'm going to try to make it down the mountain on foot. I can see light and what looks like some sort of camp at the base of the mountain. Maybe they can help us. We got 500 subscribers now. Yes!